Would you like a grand tour so you can see what you're getting yourself into? Sure. Honestly, I'm so happy that you're here. You'd be part of the family. What do you know about this family?
I know you shouldn't be here.
I don't know what I'd do without you, Millie.
When a desperate woman named Millie takes a job as a live-in maid for a wealthy family, it feels like the perfect second chance. But inside this beautiful home, every smile hides a secret, and every locked door hides the truth. She is greeted by Nina Winchester, who reviews Millie's resume.
I really enjoy being a housemaid.
You do?
For the right families, of course.
Okay. What brought you back to New York?
Nina quickly moves to the point, explaining that Millie's responsibilities will include cleaning the house and helping care for her 7-year-old daughter, Cece. Nina then begins giving Millie a tour of the house, mentioning that the interior design was created by her husband, Andrew, who works in the tech industry. She shows Millie a room with a large television and shelves filled with drinks, adding that Andrew loves spending his time there. Nina tells Millie she is welcome to use the room whenever she wants. Next, she shows her the second living room and explains that they rarely use it. Millie awkwardly asks whether Nina really needs a nanny since everything already looks neat and well-maintained. Nina then admits that she is pregnant and will need all the help she can get. She asks Millie not to tell Andrew yet, explaining that it is still early and she wants to be certain first. Millie nods and congratulates her. Nina then shows Millie Sesay's bedroom and points to a miniature model of the house, proudly saying that Andrew built it himself. Afterward, she leads Millie to her own bedroom.
And you would be upstairs. You're gonna think it's a little bit small, but it's got a lot of privacy and...
At the end of the tour, Nina hands Millie a $20 bill for gas and tells her she will call once she has made her decision. Deep down, Millie suspects Nina will probably never call back after completing the background check, since everything on her resume is a lie. After washing up in a public restroom, Millie returns to her car and spends the night sleeping there. The following day, Millie receives a call from Nina telling her she got the job, and Millie gratefully thanks her. That afternoon, Millie arrives at the house, but no one answers when she presses the gate. She asks a nearby man if he knows the access code, and just then the gate slowly opens. Millie walks inside and immediately notices the house is in complete disarray. Nina greets her.
Listen, I need to write a PTA speech that has to be a barn burner.
She takes Millie's bags and offers to place them in her room. Millie spends hours cleaning until the house is spotless. Not long after, Andrew arrives home with Cece. Nina introduces Millie and explains that she will now be living with them. Andrew appears hesitant at first, but Nina reassures him that Millie will be a great help. Andrew eventually welcomes her. Later, Millie goes to her room and notices a small refrigerator stocked with bottled water. She also realizes the door cannot be locked from the inside, only from the outside. When she tries to open the window, she discovers that it will not move at all. At that moment, Nina enters the room carrying dinner and explains that the window does not really open, though she promises to ask the handyman to fix it. Curious, Millie asks whether the handyman is the man she saw working in the yard. Nina shakes her head and explains that Enzo is only the groundskeeper. Millie then asks Nina for a key to the room. Nina laughs lightly and says she will bring one later, adding that the room used to be Andrew's storage closet for files. Nina then gives Millie a brand new phone. She explains that the household credit card is connected to it so Millie can use it to buy groceries and other necessities for the house. The next morning, Millie wakes up late and rushes downstairs, where she sees Nina angrily throwing things around the living room. Millie asks what happened. Nina explains that she left her PDA speech on the counter, but now it is missing, and she accuses Millie of throwing it away. Andrew steps in and calms his frantic wife. He tells Nina that he will take Cece to school while she begins rewriting the speech, reminding her that she still has until that evening to finish it. Millie starts cleaning the mess scattered across the room. Andrew, looking concerned, comments that he does not understand why Nina has been so emotional lately. He offers to help Millie clean, but she politely insists that she can handle everything herself. As Millie carries the trash outside, she notices Enzo working nearby. He asks her what she's doing there. Before he can say anything more, he notices Nina watching from a distance, mutters something under his breath, and quickly walks away. Later, while cleaning the master bedroom's toilet, Millie discovers a tablet resting nearby. Moments later, Nina suddenly appears behind her and begins talking about how she never quite fits in with the other PDA mothers. After a moment, she tells Millie to start preparing dinner. That evening, while Nina attends a meeting, Millie cooks dinner for the family. As she serves the meal, she asks Cece if she would like some juice. Cece agrees, but tells Millie to use a different glass, insisting that the one she brought is dirty. Millie explains that the glass just came out of the dishwasher, yet Cece still refuses to drink from it. Andrew then asks Millie to stay and join them for dinner, but she politely declines and returns to her room. There, Millie scrolls through Andrew's Instagram profile on her phone. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. Andrew appears, holding a cupcake for her. Just as he leans closer, as if to kiss her, Millie suddenly wakes up, realizing that the moment was only a dream. As Millie sets breakfast on the table the next morning, Nina hands her the key to her room and casually asks how things went the night before with Andrew and Cece. Millie replies that everything went fine. Nina sighs and admits that Andrew is not the biggest fan of her cooking, though he always eats it without complaining. A few days later, on Saturday, Nina asks Millie to take Cece to ballet class. Millie points out that it is her day off, but Nina complains that she already missed her hair salon appointment earlier because Millie supposedly threw away her PDA speech. Millie insists she has an important meeting to attend. Hearing the argument, Andrew offers to take Cece to ballet class himself. Later, Millie meets with her parole officer, who asks about her living situation and current job. Millie explains where she works and that she lives with the Winchester family. The officer warns her to hold on to the job, reminding her that if she makes another mistake, she could end up back in prison to serve the remaining 5 years of her sentence. After the meeting, Millie receives a call from Nina, who simply asks her to pick Cece up from ballet class. Millie drives to the dance studio and runs into one of the PDA mothers named Patrice. Millie introduces herself and explains that she works for Nina Winchester and is there to pick up Cece. However, Patrice tells her that Cece already has a play date arranged with Emma weeks ago. Millie insists that Nina specifically asked her to pick Cece up. Irritated, Patrice calls Nina, who denies ever asking Millie to pick up Cece at all. When Millie returns to the house, Nina immediately scolds her for causing a scene in front of Patrice and claims that she already told Millie Cece was having a sleepover. She then introduces Millie to Evelyn, Andrew's mother, explaining that she has brought several beautiful china sets with her. At that moment, Andrew arrives home and warmly greets his mother. That night, Millie cannot sleep, so she goes downstairs to watch television. A few minutes later, Andrew joins her. Millie apologizes for being there and begins to leave, but he asks her to stay. They end up watching Family Feud together. Millie says she enjoys the show. Andrew jokes that he and his family would have dominated the game, calling them absolute vultures. He then asks about Millie's family. She admits that she does not really stay in touch with them anymore. Trying to lighten the mood, Andrew jokes that he, Millie, his parents, and Nina would probably make a better team on Family Feud. Noticing who was left out of the joke, Millie asks about Nina's parents. Andrew explains that Nina's parents died when she was young and that the police were never able to determine who was responsible, though rumors claim Nina may have started the fire herself. At that moment, Nina walks in and finds them sitting together. Andrew quickly explains that they were only watching a game show before excusing himself and leaving the room. Nina then suddenly fires Millie. Desperate, Millie begs for another chance. After a long pause, Nina reluctantly agrees and warns Millie.
Stay the fuck away from my husband.
The next day, Millie prepares food for a PDA gathering. While serving the guests, she overhears the mothers gossiping about their nannies. Nina then announces that she is searching for a nanny herself. The women immediately crowd around her, asking how far along her pregnancy is. Nina quickly corrects them, explaining that she and Andrew are only trying to conceive and are planning to visit a fertility clinic. Just then, Nina receives a phone call and steps away to take it. As soon as she leaves the room, the mothers begin gossiping about her. Patrice comments that Andrew must be a saint to tolerate Nina's behavior and adds that Nina had nothing when she first married him. They also reveal that Nina once spent 9 months in a psychiatric hospital. That night, Millie writes in her journal, confessing that she believes Nina is crazy for lying about being pregnant. Suddenly, Nina bursts into the room and asks Millie to watch Cece that Saturday while she and Andrew go to a doctor's appointment in the city. Millie agrees. When Saturday arrives and Nina and Andrew leave, Millie checks the medicine cabinet and realizes that Nina's medication is prescribed for psychosis. Later, Millie leaves a voicemail for her friend Lexi, asking if she knows of any job openings and admitting that she needs to get out of the house. Cece overhears the message and asks if Millie is planning to leave. Millie reassures her that she is not going anywhere and starts making her a sandwich. Trying to fill the awkward silence, Millie asks whether Cece has any crushes at school. The question immediately irritates Cece, who bluntly tells Millie that she does not need to be her friend. Millie gently replies that she wants to be because she likes her. Cece softens slightly and begins playing with her dollhouse.
Do you want juice or water? Juice, please. Don't spill. Juice is a privilege.
I won't.
Did you go to the salon today?
Yes.
While watching her play, Millie notices Cece holding her troll doll and scolds her for entering her room without permission. Suddenly, they hear Nina screaming from another room. Later, Millie learns that Nina has premature ovarian insufficiency, meaning she cannot have children. Andrew explains that they have been trying for years and confesses that he always wanted children, revealing that Cece is not actually his biological daughter. That night, Millie hears loud shouting and screaming coming from their bedroom. She quietly goes to check and sees Nina holding a bloodied shard of glass, smiling in a disturbing way. She refuses to let go until Andrew finally manages to take it from her before quickly closing the door. The next morning, Nina apologizes to Millie for lying about the pregnancy. Millie smiles politely, trying to keep the peace. Nina then offers Millie some of her clothes. Millie hesitates at first, but when Nina insists, she accepts them. After that, Nina asks Millie for a favor and tells her to book 2 Broadway tickets and a hotel for Saturday so she can make it up to Andrew. She explains that Cece will stay with a friend and that Millie will have the day off. Later, Millie goes to pick up Cece from ballet class. One of the mothers asks if she is the new maid working for the Winchester family. When Millie confirms it, the woman tells her that Cece has been through a lot and reveals that Nina once tried to drown her before attempting suicide by overdosing on pills. She adds that Andrew was the one who saved both of them. Later, Millie confronts Enzo and asks what he knows about the family, but Nina suddenly interrupts angrily and demands to know why Millie bought the Broadway tickets. Millie reminds her that she was the one who asked her to book them. Nina accuses her of lying and says that she and Cece are supposed to go to art camp that Saturday. She adds that the tickets cannot be refunded and that the cost will be deducted from Millie's paycheck. Just then, Andrew arrives home and Nina immediately tells him what happened. Andrew reassures Millie and tells her she will not have to pay for the tickets. A few days later, Nina and Cece leave for art camp. Millie takes a shower, and when she comes out, she runs into Andrew in the hallway. He awkwardly apologizes and walks away. Later, Andrew tells Millie that the tickets could not be refunded and asks if she would like to go to the show with him instead. Millie hesitates for a moment, but eventually agrees. She wears one of Nina's dresses, and they go to the show together, enjoying the evening. Afterwards, they check into the hotel, where Andrew begins opening up about his life and the company he runs, which he inherited from his father. He admits that he always wanted to be a good husband and have children someday. He asks Millie if she wants children, and she replies that she does, someday. While Andrew checks in at the front desk, Millie asks the receptionist for a phone charger and receives one. They then head to their separate rooms. As Millie plugs in her phone, she suddenly notices dozens of angry messages from Nina. She quickly shows them to Andrew. Overwhelmed by the situation, Millie begins to cry, and Andrew comforts her. One thing leads to another, and the two of them end up sleeping together. The next morning, Andrew compliments Millie on her beauty. About an hour later, they return to the house and feel relieved when they realize Nina has not come home yet. As the tension fades, they begin kissing. Sometime later, Nina unexpectedly walks in. She quickly apologizes to Millie for the angry messages she sent the night before. Curious, she asks how Millie spent her day off. Millie lies and says she went to a bar with her friend Lexi. Nina smiles and casually compliments Millie's cooking.
I've been meaning to ask you, did you learn how to cook while you were in prison?
Nina then mentions to Andrew that Millie spent 10 years in prison, adding that it is good she is trying to start fresh. Afterward, she hands Millie a grocery list and asks if she used her car to run errands, and asks something more.
Do you use my car for running errands from now on? I'm afraid yours is becoming an unwelcome topic of conversation.
While shopping, Millie runs into one of the PDA mothers who notices her new phone. The woman remarks that many nannies refuse phones from their employers because they are often used as tracking devices. At that moment, Millie realizes that Nina likely knows about the affair. Moments later, the police arrive and place Millie in handcuffs after Nina reports her car as stolen. Eventually, Andrew arrives and picks her up. On the drive home, Millie admits that she went to prison while she was still in high school. Andrew gently tells her she does not need to explain her past and assures her that he knows she is a good person. When they return to the house, Nina confronts them after finding the Broadway playbill. She accuses them of having an affair. Both Millie and Andrew deny it, and Andrew tells Nina that she is imagining things again. Nina fires Millie immediately and demands money from her, accusing her of stealing her clothes. Millie stands there stunned. Andrew suddenly loses his temper and throws Nina out of the house. Furious, Nina slaps Millie before storming away. After Nina leaves, Millie offers to leave as well, explaining that she needs a stable job and home to meet the conditions of her parole. Andrew insists that she stay with him, and after a moment, Millie agrees. Over the next few weeks, life with Andrew feels blissful for Millie. One morning, as she prepares breakfast, she notices Enzo watching her from outside. Millie accidentally breaks a china plate that Andrew's mother had brought. Concerned, she tells Andrew, who immediately fires him. Later, she apologizes, but Andrew tells her not to worry and asks her to gather the pieces so he can have them repaired. That evening, as Andrew carefully examines the broken china, he asks why Millie didn't clean up the shards herself. She explains she was afraid of cutting herself. He simply nods and then leads her to her bedroom, offering champagne. They drink, and soon their connection turns physical. Sometime later, Millie wakes up alone and finds the door locked from the outside. Panicked, she calls for Andrew to open it. Meanwhile, the story shifts back a few weeks earlier, after Nina has left the house. Instead of despair, Nina feels relief at escaping Andrew's control. It is revealed that Andrew has been abusive and manipulative toward Nina for years, exploiting her while presenting himself as the perfect husband to the world. Nina's trauma began at age 8, and contrary to Andrew's claims, she did not start the fire at her home. She had once dreamed of becoming a lawyer, but after an early pregnancy and rejection by her professor, she gave up her ambitions and began working as a secretary. Eventually, she met Andrew under circumstances orchestrated by him, and their relationship quickly became controlling and abusive. Over time, Andrew's abuse intensifies. He pressures Nina about having children, though she secretly pays a doctor to confirm she is infertile. Enzo attempts to help Nina and Cece escape by arranging fake passports, but Andrew discovers the plan. Nina realizes Andrew's greatest weakness is his need for admiration, which gives her leverage. She begins plotting her escape, using Millie, alone, vulnerable, and seeking a fresh start, as the perfect pawn. Nina manipulates events so Millie is drawn into the household, setting the stage for their eventual plan to turn the tables on Andrew. In the present, Millie is forced to obey Andrew's twisted rules. He punishes her by making her carve lines into her skin for breaking a china plate, drawing a haunting parallel to the man she killed in her past. Millie recalls the injustice that led to her imprisonment, realizing that Andrew is repeating the same patterns of power and control. This fuels her resolve to take action. Andrew! Meanwhile, Nina and Cece prepare to move to California, signaling that Millie must navigate the danger of Andrew while figuring out a way to free herself from his grip. Millie seizes the opportunity. Using the tools and knowledge Nina left behind, she locks Andrew in a room and discovers hidden cameras, realizing he has been monitoring every move. She threatens him with the china sets, forcing him to comply with her demands, including pulling out a tooth. Millie asserts control, demonstrating how clever and resourceful she has become. That night, as Nina returns to help, Andrew ambushes her, but Millie intervenes, creating chaos that allows them to escape. Together, Millie and Nina confront Andrew one final time, overpowering him and ensuring he cannot continue his abuse. Before leaving, Millie carefully places Andrew's tooth beside his body. Na later tells the officer a cover story, claiming she returned home that evening after dropping her daughter at art camp and that her maid was on a one-week break. The officer notes that Andrew's injuries are too severe for a simple fall and then reveals she knew him personally. He once dated her sister Kathy, who became deeply disturbed after their relationship and never fully recovered. Ultimately, the officer dismisses the case as a freak accident. Days later, after Andrew's funeral, the PDA moms offer their condolences. Evelyn remarks that Andrew had a beautiful smile and mentions the police found the missing tooth beside him. She adds that neglecting your teeth costs you the privilege of having them. She then scolds Nina, questioning if this is how she allows her daughter to dress for her father's funeral. Later, Nina spots Millie, thanks her, and gives her money to start over. Millie then attends an interview for a housemaid position at a luxurious mansion. The woman interviewing her says Nina recommended her, but warns that her husband is difficult to please. Millie smiles calmly and asks, "When can I start?" Flick Deep Dive. It's a sharp study of power, class, and the fragile illusion of control inside a perfect home. Millie may live under the same roof as the wealthy family she serves, but belonging is another matter entirely. In a house where every smile hides a secret, truth becomes a weapon and perception becomes power. The mansion itself becomes a cage, beautiful, silent, and isolating, tightening its grip with every locked door and whispered lie. Here, survival isn't about strength. It's about understanding who's really pulling the strings. Flick fact number 1. The film is based on the best-selling thriller novel by Frida McFadden. Flick fact number 2. The mansion almost acts like a character. Every hallway and shadow amplifies the psychological tension. The housemaid isn't just about a dangerous job. It's about the terrifying secrets hidden inside seemingly perfect lives. Every character hides something. Every room reveals another layer of truth. And by the end, the real question isn't just who is guilty. It's whether the truth was ever meant to be discovered at all. On the Flick verdict scale, this is a must-watch, a tense psychological thriller packed with twists and quiet dread. Bottom line, behind the perfect house lies a perfect trap. Drawn to thrillers where the truth hides behind a perfect smile, Flick Favorites explores the films that keep you guessing until the very last moment. Comment below, would you stay in that house for the money or run on day one?